Hey everyone. First of all, I apologize if there's any abrupt interruptions in the future while I'm doing this video on this live stream. Um, but I thought I'd come on here because I just felt like talking about this, and maybe it has to do with the fact that my brother-in-law, either my nephew, took pictures of me doing my recent live stream about an hour or two ago, where I did my Amazon package opening, revealing that I got the Storm King fan series Guardians of Harmony there over there, as well as getting season 6 of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic on DVD. But maybe that's the reason, and maybe it's not. Now, here's the thing: we all know that back in 2013, 2014, a documentary was brought out called Bronies, the unexpected adult fan base of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, or at least the unexpected fan base of My Little Pony. Unexpected adult fan base, that is. And of course, they went with Bronies as the main title because that's what everybody was known for. And before there were Pegasus Sisters and all that, coming into the equation and, into the vocabulary and stuff like that. But, everybody, even though this show has been going on for it's going on its eighth season in a few months, even though part of that eighth season has been leaked online, partially, with some full-fledged, fully animated episodes, but not completed. In other words, the episodes may be fully animated in full length for an episode of 22 minutes, but they're not completed because there's no sound effects, no background music, stuff like that. And some might even still be works in progress. And you even have an episode that's only audio only. So, yeah. Um, the but so yeah, you look at the fact that we're heading into an eighth season, and according to the information that was leaked, even a ninth season and possibly a 10th one if they decide to go for a whole decade's worth. You would think by now that a lot of people would have a better understanding of why there is an adult fan base. You know, you think they would understand. Well, it's part of MLP is now part of pulp culture. Heck, they had what was it, a 5 second, 6 second Super Bowl spot doing a montage commercial with them all wearing Colts outfits. Colts helmets, uniforms, hats. The main six, that is. And I think even Spike. They had them wearing Colts outfits. So that showed you that Friendship is Magic had crossed over into mainstream pop culture by having that little moment right there. Um, and not only having that moment right there, if you will, but you also take a look like during the holiday season, the Christmas season, Target always has, over the past several years, these commercials where you have all these toys come to life and helping these human kids and even the human adults. And what's one of the characters? Pinkie Pie. In fact, even like not last year, but the year before, they had like some kind of musical short with John Legend in there, of all people. And you had, I think, Pinkie Pie and Rarity along with these other toys. And it shows you again how far-reaching Friendship is Magic, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic has become. It's gone beyond its original intended audience and possible status to what it was supposed to being something more. Now you have conventions all over the place, some that have recently closed up in the past year, only to be replaced by newer ones. You have all these conventions from BronyCon to BabsCon to Equestria LA to uh, Nightmare Nights to the Everfree convention to Pacific PonyCon or something like that. A lot of these conventions all over the place, all over the country, if not the world. And a majority of the people that attend them are adults. And yes, they have the kids with them. Yes, they have the youngsters with them. But a majority of the people that attend them are adults. And it's um, it's really not and it really might be basically a huge surprise to a lot of people that this all this has happened mainly because you have all because of this one little show that was intended originally for young girls to sell toys and merchandise to young girls. And all of a sudden, it's just exploded into this pop culture icon that when this generation, known as the fourth generation of My Little Pony, comes to an end, it's going to be start on. It's going to be long remembered as probably one of the greatest cartoons of all time, or one of the greatest animated series of all time, not because it ran for nearly a decade, because of the cultural impact it had. I mean, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, just like anybody else has. It is transcended its an original targeted audience and gender, and has gone beyond that. Now you have adult fans that go out of the way to review episodes, react to episodes, do blind commentaries, do roundtable podcasts, and the list goes on because they love the show, they love the characters, and you have people like Dusty Cat, Lightning Bliss, Golden Fox, Silver Quill, Josh Scorcher, aka Firebrand, uh, Ari, Amaru, I think, um, Amari, I think, I can't pronounce the name, and I do apologize. Arion, who's the secretary or a friend of Josh Scorcher, the secretary in some of his reviews when he's Firebrand. You got Finn the Pony, you got Thespio, you got Voice of Reason. I mean, you got Aeon of Dreams. You got all these adult fans that pretty much go out of the way, have created their own original pony characters to contribute to the fandom, to show their love and appreciation for this franchise, for this show, for these characters. And yet people still wonder why. Why is there such a huge fan base? Why is there such a huge adult fan base? Why are these people into this show when they should know it's meant for little girls? And a lot of us have said it before, and we will say it again. There is a lot of morals, lessons, messages, references, cultural references that will go over the original and targeted audience's minds and heads, but it won't go over the heads of the adults. And that to me is one of the reasons this adult fan base has come into existence, because of the fact that you got these references, you got these morals, you got these lessons, you got these mature moments that you would never expect to come out of a show originally intended for young girls and young boys. But yet here you are. Here it is, right in front of you. I mean, come on. When they had Pinkie Pie do a reference to Back to the Future, and she's wearing the yellow vest or leather vest that Marty McFly and Michael J. Fox wore in the first movie, do you think any kids would get that reference? Even I think hearing a little bit of the instrumental theme song or an instrumental version of the theme song for the movie or the theme music for the movie, do you think they would get that? Do you think any of the kids nowadays that this show is originally targeted at, would get that? No, but the adult fans do. What about Slice of Life? You had a Big Lebowski reference with three ponies that were basically based on characters out of the Big Lebowski. An R-rated film, for goodness sakes. You think the young kids would get that? No. You got a Doctor Who's character who's pretty much, or Time Turner, whatever his name is pretty much a Doctor Who character based on Doctor Who. You have a character named Rose, who's part of this group of flower ponies, was part of this group of trio of ponies that love flowers and all that, but is basically named Rose, and sometimes she's next to Doctor Who or associated with him. That's an indication to Rose of Doctor Who. Who would get that? Again, what kid would get that? You see, those are things that attract adults, adolescents, teens, college students to a show like this, because these are things you wouldn't expect them to do. You would expect a show like this to be more updated and more, with the times, more modernized, more like, not take more like, hey, we're not going to take and showcase references from the past. We're going to focus on the future. You think you think a show like this would do that, but they don't. They continuously reference and do things and reference moments, pop culture. You know, um, what I'm saying is they basically continue to reference pop culture icons, moments, movies, and stuff like that in the show that have become pop culture, icons over the past 30 plus years, 40 plus years. And young kids that this show is originally targeted at wouldn't get that. All they care about is, ooh, he's the newest. Oh, that's the newest dress for the toy. Or, ooh, look at that. That's the newest Wonderbolt figure or accessory. Got to get that. Got to get that. That's all those kids care about. They don't care about the lessons, even though they may, learn something from that. They don't really care about the lessons. They don't care about how mature the lessons or the morals or the moments may be. All they care about is, ooh, look at the next toy. That's all it is to them. The reason My Little Pony Friendship is Magic has lasted as long as it has isn't because of the young kids. It's because of the adults. The adults that basically enjoy something that isn't BSing them, isn't talking down to them. Something that, in a sense, they could look at and say, hey, this is pretty good. I want to see more. And yes, just like with any show during its existence, it's going to have moments where people that like a show and review a show are going to criticize moments that they feel are unnecessary. Why? Because sometimes somebody might be like, well, why did they portray such and such character like this? That's not like them. Or who's the writer behind this episode that portrayed the characters like this, or had such and such secondary character act like that? Like any show, it's not perfect, and it gives people fuel to come out and say, hey, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like. There you go. And that's what some of the people that I mentioned that are part of what's known as the Rift Cafe and the Secret Rift Cafe do. They go out either on camera like I am right now, or in the Pony OC's original characters that they've created, do reviews. They do reviews, and they give under the OCs, they give their thoughts on such such episodes, what they felt was right, what they felt was wrong. And you know what happens? People tune in and they watch them and they enjoy them. And why? Because these adult fans are dedicated are such dedicated fans that they're willing to go this far to review an episode, if not a story arc. And these reviews are based off episodes and story arcs from a show originally targeted at little girls. And if that's not all, these same adult fans, give them all the respect and love in the world, folks. Give them all the respect and the love in the world. Go out of the way to sometimes even put on their own story arcs, their own little side stories under their Pony OC characters. They go and do little flash animations not like what we get with the show, but basically little, you know, flash animations, if you will, that, you know, they use to not only do the reviews with, but also to, like I say, tell their own little side stories, their own little story arcs. Heck, they even do a freaking parody or hybrid parody of Team Fortress 2 called TF2 Analysis, and you have each of the reviewers from Silver Krill, Golden Fox, Keyframe, I Love KP a lot, Eliora, Kichi, if she shows up sometimes, um, Lightning Blitz, Dr. Wolf, the list goes on, being paired up on separate teams, either red or blue. And it showed, and sometimes these TF2 analysis arcs or stories can go for at least 15, 20 minutes. It shows, and they are using the Pony OCs to do this. They could use any other character if they wanted, but they're using the Pony OCs as if it's based in the world of My Little Pony. And thus that shows you the love and dedication they have for a property like this, and the respect they have for it, for the fact that this is a property that originally meant for young girls when it first began 30 plus years ago, is now at a state to where not only is it crossed over into pop culture media, like I said, with that little Super Bowl spot they had several years ago, as well as the little Target ads that they are part of throughout the Christmas seasons. But it shows you the impact it has had on the adults themselves. Because, like I said, there are character building moments and character development, character building moments, mature morals and lessons that will go over the young intended audience's head, because all they're interested in is, ooh, that's the next toy I want. They're not interested in anything else besides, ooh, that's the next toy I want. They're more they're not interested in the lessons that are learned. They're not interested in the morals to be learned, or the messages, or the moments. I mean, you think kids okay, this past season we had The Perfect Pair, which a lot of people, including myself, have said was one of the best episodes to come out of the season, if not the series, period. Do you think young kids were paying attention to how good the episode was, what the message was, the history behind it when when it comes to when it came to concerning Applejack's history, Applejack's parents? No. All they really cared about, and maybe it's my own opinion, but all these young kids cared about is, ooh, what's her name? Oh, Pear Butter or Buttercup? That's the next pony they're bringing out. I'm going to get her. Or what was or what was the other one? Bright Mac? They would say, "Ooh, what's his name? Bright Mac? I'm gonna get that new toy when it comes out." That's all they cared about. They didn't care at the fact that this was a good story. It had a good message. It was a very mature story in a sense, and very deep in a way. All they cared about was what next. All they cared about is, when are these two pony characters that we've seen going to be on shelves for them to get, or on toy shelves for them to get. That's all they cared about. That's all they cared about. And 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 what's funny is that even though that's all they cared about, you have adult fans like me that look at this and go like, "Man, this was good. This had a good story behind it. It had a good message. It was very mature, very deep. It didn't talk down. It was really good." Heck, one thing that some people say about, the the season 3 premiere, is the how mature the moral was, how mature the lesson was at the end of that two-parter. I think when Voice of Reason did the review, and I think, well, not Voice of Reason, but yeah, no, Josh Scorcher as himself, not as Firebrand. When he did the review, he said that the ending moral message lesson that they were giving at the end was very mature. He very mature, very deep, if you will, for a show originally meant for young kids. And again, when I hear someone like Josh Scorcher come out and say that, what I'm hearing is someone saying, in my opinion, what I hear is someone saying that the message and moral they got that was being given here in this at the end of this two-part season 3 opener was very mature and deep, to the point that the adults, the older audience, could understand what the message and moral and lesson was. But the kids that were watching it, they didn't care about that. Because what I got from what Josh said there was he indicated how mature the moral and the lesson was and the message was at the end. But what I also got was, in a sense, and with all due respect, Josh, if you're watching this now or later on, what I also got was him kind of indicating that the kids that were the young intended audience that was watching it, all they cared about is when is that Crystal Castle set going to come out? When is that King Sombra figure going to come out? That's all they cared about, and that's pretty much it. And I think and in my opinion, I believe someone like Josh Scorcher, Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, Golden Fox, Keyframe, Eliora, Kichi, all the people that I've mentioned earlier, I think they all know this. And I think that's why they have fun and I think that's why they put so much effort into the reviews of individual or two-part episodes, or even in a review for the movie that just came out this past year. Because they know that the people that will appreciate it more will be adult fans like them. And by doing these kind of reviews, maybe they can reach an adult fan base, those adults out there that don't quite understand, and that by watching their reviews and then thus seeing them do these side stories on the side along with the TF2 analysis shorts that they do, they hope and believe they can reach the adults that don't understand and help them to understand. By doing this, they are trying to help the adults that don't get why other adults like them and myself, Huey Toonmore, Vega, you name it, why we like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, why we're fans of it, why we go out of our way when we have the money and buy a merchandise or figures to collect. They go out of the way by doing these reviews, either in animated form or on camera, or doing these animated side stories and TF2 analysis shorts, because they're trying to give the adults and the other adults out there that don't quite get it, even if they're friends or family members, a better understanding as to why My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is something they should watch and check out and at least give a chance to. I mean, a lot of people probably don't know this, but probably don't realize this, but in my opinion, the My Little Pony movie that came out last year, that now has recently come out on Blu-ray and DVD, that movie probably wouldn't have come into existence without the adult fans. Do you think when they talked about the possibility of doing a movie that they were actually going to do it if the only audience they had was the young kids that it was targeted at, that the show was originally targeted at? No. I mean, if they would have done a movie, the movie probably would have been a direct-to-video or made-for-television film that they would see on the hub, and that's it. Or a direct-to-video film they could get on DVD or Blu-ray, and that was it. And that would be it. But yet, seeing how massive this adult fan base is and how dedicated this fan base had become to a show like this, going out of the way to put together these conventions that have become world renowned, to go out and, like I said, do these animated reviews and on-camera reviews and these animated shorts and animated side stories and animated TF2 analysis shorts, they realized that the best way to pay back the fan base is to put this movie together. And that's what they did. They put the best effort forward. They upgraded on animation to give it that feature film feel. And in a sense, they gave us, I would say, a very good story. I mean, like I said, I did a review on one of the forums. I mean, on one of the, I did a live after screening review of it while I was waiting for the bus in Turlock. I went to go see it on its official opening day, which was Friday, October 6th, and I was able to basically say, "Hey, look, this is a very good movie. They did great. It's one of the best I've seen." And I still stick by that. I stick by that to this very day. But again, if you think that movie would have come into existence if the only audience they had was originally young intended audience, no, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened at all. It wouldn't have, even if it did, it wouldn't have gotten the story that it got. It wouldn't have gotten a PG rating. It wouldn't have had its dramatic moments or dark moments or whatever. It wouldn't have the celebrity cast that it did. And it wouldn't even be in theaters for that long. It would be in theaters for what? A weekend and that's it? I'm just saying, it wouldn't even get a worldwide release. And that's just my opinion, but it probably wouldn't have gotten a worldwide release either. Or been in as many studios, or not studios, but in many cinemas as it was. But yet, here you are. But yet, there you go. There you go. But yet, I'm saying, thanks to the adult fan base that's been very dedicated to it almost since the first season or second season, or the first couple of seasons. All of a sudden, here you go. It's not only is it in a good amount of theaters, not only did it rank in the top 25 for movies of that year, but even someone like Matt Burnett, even said that if he did a top 6 list or top 7 list, is that in the best category, My Little Pony would be in there. And that's the truth. He said basically that had he added maybe an additional 2 slots to his best and worst list for last year, as far as animated features go, Matt Burnett basically said that in the best slot, he would put My Little Pony as well as the movie Leap. And if for someone like him to come out and say, "Hey, yeah, it wasn't, that good, it was okay," but for him to come out and say he would have put that in his best category, that says something. And then when you take a look at someone like Andre of Black Nerd Comedy, and he basically says, "Yeah, it's good. It's no big. It's nothing bad. It's decent. You can go and see it." That's a pretty big compliment. When you have someone like Tamra from Channel Awesome and the Nostalgia Critic series coming out and saying that it was good, even though she's never seen the show, her review, in a sense, kind of gave us the understanding. Tamra's review gave us the understanding of someone that has never seen it, but yet the movie did what it was supposed to do to probably garner itself a new fan base or new members of its fan for the My Little Pony fan base or a new audience in general. But again, what I'm getting at, folks, is this movie probably wouldn't have happened if you just had the original intended audience of young kids. It probably wouldn't have. And like I said, even if it did, it wouldn't have gotten the mass appeal that it got already. I'm just saying. You see, the thing is, the point is this, folks. It's not the fact that, look, what I'm trying to say is, the point is, it's not the fact that, you know, some people even to this day don't understand. And if they do understand, they still don't get it. And that's fine. That's fine. But when I see people, friends, family members going out of the way to, and maybe it's just in jest and in loving jest or something like that, go out of the way to kind of, in a sense, joke around or tease you about certain things, you kind of get you kind of get the idea that maybe they're just joking around, teasing, and it doesn't really bug you. But yet there are some cases will bug you. You know, we have there's one person at one of the Facebook group pages that came out and said he wants to give away for free all his MLP plushes and figures and all that because he's done with it because people are bullying him. And a lot of people came to his defense saying, don't let them bully you. Like what you want to like. And, you know, maybe he's at that age to where maybe he's at that age, same age maybe as my nephew, my second older nephew. You know, maybe he's getting ready to go into high school, or maybe he's in junior high right now, in the 7th or 8th grade, and you know, people are making fun of him because he likes My Little Pony, and maybe he's at that point in his life where he's like, I like this, but I gotta look cool. I don't want to be bullied. And maybe he's being peer pressured. But you know what? You shouldn't be peer pressured. You should tell those bullies and those that are trying to pressure you into quitting and being rid of My Little Pony, to tell them, hey, look, I like the show, I like the characters, it's my business. You either deal with it or you don't, and leave me alone. And if this is happening at a school, then he should go to the teachers, if not the principal, if not the superintendent, and say, hey, this is what's going on, and I'm scared, and let them understand why. And true, they might find it a little awkward, but at least the teachers and the principals and the vice principals and the superintendents, they will be more understanding, hopefully, to the fact that, hey, you can like what you want, and you shouldn't be bullied about it. And when and even though your family could go out of the way and say, here, I got you this for your birthday or for Christmas, and you see it's a T-shirt of the main six as sea ponies, like my older nephew got me for Christmas from Hot Topic, or my sister got me a Cutie Marks collection from My Little Pony the movie that has Tempest in it. That's basically similar to the Pirate collection that was exclusive to my job, but the big difference is they have Tempest. Um, the point is, even though they did that because they know I'm a fan, and they have an understanding and respect, and they hopefully have an understanding and respect for it, and I love and appreciate them for that, there are times that I could still tell, even in jest, that they're trying to hint that maybe I should start getting away from it. Maybe I should start realizing that, hey, you're almost a certain age. Maybe you should not be into this so much. It's meant for this group. It's meant for this, age group, you know, and I can understand, and I understand and respect that. And I understand and respect that. But it's like telling my older siblings to stop watching Game of Thrones, or stop watching The Walking Dead, or stop watching Harry Potter. You know, I can't just come out and say, and kind of hint subtly or jestedly or whatever, and at the fact that, hey, maybe you should quit doing it, because that's not my place. That's not my place. My place is to accept what they like, and that's it. You know, I could do what my siblings or the husbands do and hint and jest and all that, to maybe try to slowly move on from it. But it'd be the same way if I was to tell them, "Hey, Game of Thrones is going to end in a year or two. It's 2019 is going to be its last season. You might want to slowly get away from that now." I can do that, but I don't. I can slowly hint at my siblings, stop watching Harry Potter. I can subtly hint and jest and joke around and say, "Hey, stop watching Harry Potter, or get away from that, or stop watching Walking Dead, get away from that, or don't watch certain movies like It or Stranger Things and all that. But I don't. I don't do that. Even though I could, even though I can go on here and kind of hit and say, yeah, I guess your GOT is going to be RIP in 19. I could do that. Kind of jest around and joke around with them saying, hey, your favorite show is going to be RIP in 2019. But I don't. Even though I could, I don't. The point is, I can understand why family members, friends may hint at people like me, people like Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, Dr. Wolf, Voice of Reason, Golden Fox, Keyframe, Eliora, Kichi, you name it. I can Tune Critic, I can understand. I can understand that when they hint at something, when they hint at it, that perhaps that perhaps what I'm trying to say is, even though their family and friends could hint at the same thing as my family and friends do, maybe it's time for you to get away from it. That as much as we all may respect and appreciate and love them for at least trying, they have to understand that even if this show ends in the next couple of years, our love for the show, our love and dedication for the show and for the characters, it's not going to end. Especially if they're getting carried on into a newest series, it's not going to end. It's still going to be there. You know, it's, I understand it's not easy for folks. I can understand that. And yes, and yeah, even for the younger kids, for the younger generation, the sons, the daughters, maybe they don't understand. But hopefully someday they will. Because when you look back at a show like this, even though it could only last maybe another few seasons, it's gonna, like I said earlier, it's gonna go down as one of the more iconic shows out there, animated wise, that's ever been on television because of what it's done, because of what it's transcended and evolved into. And you know, it wouldn't be around as long as it has if it wasn't for the adult fans, if it wasn't for the adult Bronies and adult Pegasisters. It wasn't for the adult community all in general. We have several Facebook group pages that are publicly open or closed or in secret because of that fan base. We have Twitter accounts based around that. It's all over social media. And honestly, I think the time has come for that question, and that question of why there's an adult fan base of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. I think the time has come for that question to die. I think it's time for that question to go away. Because now it's almost been a decade. And I think what we have to do is realize that even though it's been a decade, even though it's almost been a decade, we got to realize that everybody knows about this. Everybody knows about the adult fans. The actors and actresses that voice the characters on the show, they know about it and they accept it. The writers, the creators, Lauren Faust, the one that developed the idea originally, knows about it and they accept it. It's nothing weird for them. You not only got, men and women in as adult men and women being fans, fans that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, if you will. But you got a love that no one else can deny. But you got a fan base that no matter that pretty much feels that the question of why there's an adult fan base around, that question needs to come to an end and it needs to stop. You know, everybody says that we need to get along together, accept each other for who we are. Maybe that time has come for this show. Maybe that time has come for this show, and we need to make that happen. So that's all I'm going to say, folks. Talk to y'all later.